Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Soul Chats. I am back home in Michigan right now, and this is my backyard that I grew up in, and my mom is sitting next to me.
Hi everybody!
And we're gonna hang out with my mom. Her name's Carolyn, and she's in the Autoimmune Tribe Facebook group if you haven't seen her. First, I want to go over a few things that I took some notes on here on this course that I recently took called The Biology of Belief. Then I am going to actually, you can see right here, I have a scanner and a computer in front of me. I'm going to actually scan my mom using this brand new NES health system that I have on my computer. So we're going to scan her. You guys are going to see what that looks like. She hasn't done it yet. It's completely new to her. I've told her the gist of what she's getting herself into, but that's about it. And before we start and get there, hi Kathy. You guys are joining live, just say hello. But I just wanted to make some points and draw from my notebook because I just had a long drive across the country from Colorado to Michigan and a few stops along the way, and I was able to listen. It's a really good time for me when I'm in the car to just listen to, hi Sarah, lectures, podcasts, etc. So I listened to this online course, which was, hi ladies, hi Kathy, called The Biology of Belief with Bruce Lipton, who's a doctor and PhD. And part of this book was really, it just made a lot of sense. Hi Katie, welcome. And there was this line in there that said, healing is remembering who we truly are. And I love that. Healing is remembering who we truly are. It makes us go back into our roots. And sometimes we hesitate to show our wounds, or we feel like our pain is unlike anyone else's pain, that we are alone or isolated or different in our wounds and in our pain or in our autoimmune disease. But these things are more common than you think, and more common than maybe you would even see by looking at someone. This past week was a hard one for my entire family. On Wednesday, it was the 2-year anniversary of my younger brother Jordan's death, and I taught a yoga class the next day, and I shared a little bit about him and, you know, from my point of view. And I had a woman come up to me after yoga class and just say, you know, this is more common than you think. And that maybe she struggled, maybe someone she knew struggled with depression or suicide. And it was a good reminder of, like, that's why we share, and that's why we are more alike than different. And Mom, maybe you can share your story later about when your post, if you feel comfortable. So I taught this yoga class, and it was just like a good reminder about that we are more alike than we think. So there's these messages that come through our symptoms or our disease that can be investigated, and they can be investigated with just really 2 simple questions. When you have this physical symptom, so, you know, anyone who's joining, like, maybe write down what are some of these physical symptoms that you are experiencing, and then ask yourself, look at that list and say, what is it that I have longed for, or what have I not recovered from yet? Okay, so you're looking deeper into message behind disease, and this is what Bruce writes in this course, or says in this course, that we can discover and investigate the meaning behind disease with these 2 simple questions and trying to find the answers to them, which again is, what is it that I have longed for, or what have I not recovered from yet? Okay, so symptoms, I wrote this on Instagram today, symptoms are not the problem, symptoms are how to heal the problem, and they are a good reminder to us to look deeper into our bodies and not get angry about your acne or your knee pain or your stomach ache, but actually see it as this kind of blessing and message. He also talks about 3 culprits of disease. The first is mutation, something wrong with the blueprint of your body, aka genetics. And we think about genetics, we hear about things like Angelina Jolie getting a double mastectomy because she had the genetic, the genes for breast cancer, right? But that actually only 1% of disease is genetic, he writes, and he talks about there's just this 1%. And so what is the rest of 99%, right? So that's one culprit of disease, but it's just 1%. The other two culprits of disease are some sort of interference, an interference with a signal. So that could be something like trauma or exposure to toxins or mold in your life. The third is thought, and this is the big one that I want to talk about, and we'll see on the scan here with my mom, is thought. And this can be broken down deeper into sending the wrong signals to the body, or the body getting out of sync. And that's what this scanner does. It shows where are you out of sync in your body. And the health of our cells is a reflection of what's going on in the environment around us, right? So you think about the nature and nurture and environment versus genetic, different debates and arguments. And Bruce's, Dr. Lipton's message really here was that most of this is the thought is the culprit, and that our body does get out of sync, and then many, many other things start kind of cascade from there, like stress, right? You're in a stressful environment, your body shuts off its growth hormones, it shuts off maintenance of the body, it shuts off the immune system, and then that's when you become vulnerable for disease. And I was talking to my friend Tori, who I don't know if it's on or not. Tori, if you're here, say hello. She has a Facebook group called Fearless is My Spirit Animal, and we had just a really good soul chat with each other on Friday night. And I was talking about this course because I was really into it, and telling her about the placebo effect, and how the placebo effect is actually a perfect example of how much our thoughts like actually matter, right? There's this Buddhist saying or proverb that says, what we think we become. And placebo effect, he explains, there's also a nocebo effect. So placebo is like you get the sugar pill and say it's for diabetes or something, and you have similar results as the people who are taking maybe like the insulin, or that's just one example. Well, the nocebo effect is just as powerful, right? So there's a difference between I think I can get better, so I do, and then I don't think I can, so I don't. So the nocebo would be I don't think I can, so I don't. Whereas placebo is like when you're getting this sugar pill, and so you say, I think I can get better. I think that I'm taking this medication to make me feel better. It's doing something in my body, and so you do get better. But actually it's your thought that is transforming your body and your health. So just a little difference between nocebo and placebo, but a good reminder of how important our thoughts are. One more thought here before we scan my mom. So he also talks about conscious and subconscious mind, and that 10% of the time we use our conscious mind, which is a very small percentage of the time, whereas 90% we're using the subconscious mind. So you can break this down into the conscious mind being creative thoughts and being in the present moment, okay? Whereas subconscious mind is our programming, all the things that, hi Tori, I just talked about you. You must not have been on for it. You can listen to the recording. The subconscious mind is more of these programmings, these things that we learned from our parents or learned under the age of 7. These are our instincts and our habits, and they can be self-sabotaging and they can be limiting. So to think that we're only operating in conscious mind or presence, full presence in our life 10% of the time is pretty crazy. Whereas 90% of the time is subconscious. So a good example that he explains about this is like if I were sitting here at my computer doing work and I'm really focused on my work, I'm using conscious mind on my work, and my mom comes around the corner and I kind of blow up on her, right? Because I'm using subconscious mind, because my mind can only be in one place. So I'm using my programming, my habit, my instinct to maybe something that triggered me and yelling and not acting from a place of consciousness. And that's like 90%. It's just like when you're having a conversation and walking at the same time. Your conscious mind is talking, having a conversation. Your subconscious mind is making sure you put one foot in front of the other. Okay? Thanks in advance for the scan demo. I'm excited. Yeah, no problem, Kathy. So we're going to do a scan, and we're going to see how putting your hand on this really cool scanner can bring up these images and visuals of my mom's body and some of the blocks that she might have, and trying to prioritize where she can start healing first. So, you want to come a little closer, Mom? Hi everyone who joined a little bit later too. Again, we're in the backyard here in Okemos, Michigan, and this is my mom, Carolyn.
Hi everybody.
So we are just gonna have her put her hand on the scanner.
Does it matter which hand?
Nope, either hand. Just put your full hand on the scanner. Great. And then you'll see that the computer says that a body field was detected because she's a real human. And then we are going to start the scan. So I just pushed start, and again, my mom's hand is just right here. It's scanning the body field. Lots of movement of the camera, sorry everyone. So here she's holding her hand on there. It's been 10, 15 seconds. So now her scan is complete. It says it's complete, and she can remove her hand off of the scanner, okay? And we're gonna send the scan to the practitioner, which would be me. And it says now that the scan has successfully been sent to the practitioner. Stay in here. Stay in here. And then I'm gonna open it up on my computer, and we're gonna look, I'll flip the camera over here in a second so that you guys can see the screen and that we can look through it together. Okay, so that's not the right time. It says that because I used a different email. Okay, so we're downloading her scan right now. Thanks for everyone who's sticking around and waiting. And it's going to pull it up here on the computer, and we're going to be able to see many screens. And they're prioritized in the way that your body wants to heal, but they're also prioritized by emotional and physical, okay? So we're going to look first at this page. We're going to flip the camera. And let me know if you guys can see that pretty clearly. Here, will you hold the camera, Mom? Okay. Let me know if there's any comments. So here's the screen, and
there we go.
That's a little bit better. So you can see that the purple is going to be her highest priority. So she has highest priority in the breast region. And I'm not going to go into the meaning behind all this today, but I just want to show you guys where her high priorities are and what this looks like from a visual standpoint. So some of her other high priorities would be her stomach, and this is and spleen. And then you can see there's also some purple here on her wrist, on the back side of her body. Again, showing a priority being in the wrist. Mom, do you have arthritis in your wrist or no?
I have arthritis in my hand.
You have arthritis in your hand. So that could be part of that. And you know, stomach comes up for a lot of people, and it's related to so many other aspects of digestion, not just the stomach. So if I click on this orange button here, I can see some of her second priorities, which you can see around the knees, the fingers. This might be the larynx and the paranasal sinus, just as some examples. And again, you can see there's some at the top of her head here too, her pineal gland, and the purple was her actual brain and gray matter. So just looking at some of these priorities, and again, there's a third priority, and there's a fourth priority here. You can really, you know, pull them all up, and then the white ones would be not priorities for her right now. Okay, and then this is the energy page. So now I'm on the information page, and this is really cool because you can see this big field aligner. Okay, so this is going to show her. She actually is really grounded. Do you feel grounded today?
I do feel grounded because my daughter's here.
So she has no priority with grounding, or nothing to address right now. Her polar axis is also not something to address, but her vertical and equatorial axis could be something to look into. And so, for example, this equatorial axis has to do with the body's ability to absorb the right trace minerals from foods, and it has a lot to do with metabolism and metabolic diseases. That doesn't mean that she has a metabolic disease, but it may mean that she needs some support with metabolism or the ability to absorb these minerals in her body. Okay, and then looking at polarity, again, not a priority. Same with day and night. It doesn't mean that they wouldn't come up on a different scan, but this is most important for her right now, which is to work on more of these equatorial and vertical axes. So this is kind of this big picture of circadian rhythm and polarity and connection to the earth and grounding. And the next tab here is the mind tab. And she has, so these kind of like emotions right here, which are love, chill, peace, liberator, choice point, and ESR. Her highest priority is peace. And does that make sense for you, Mom?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
So it looks like love is kind of a second priority, but peace is really just that she may struggle with kind of this harmonious state of being, or she might have troubling thoughts, stress, or emotional distress and upset. And then there is this understanding of the world. And life purpose and emotions, again, don't show up as priorities, but this beliefs part would be the highest priority. And then within that, these are the things that that are the priorities for her. So the first would be, I feel safe in the world, as a belief that you might feel that you don't feel safe in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be an indication where, an affirmation you could say to yourself is, I feel safe in the world. And then the second priority here is, I can be loved just as I am. And then the green ones would be your third priorities. I am lovable, I am perfect, I can be helped. And then looking deeper here on these holograms, so CB hologram is her major priority, and there it is. So this is going to look deeper into emotional healing as well. Her number one priority here is nurturing. So you'll notice that nurturing also is around the nipple or the breast, which was where she also had a physical blockage. And so this is showing more that it might not be a physical blockage, that it might actually be, the root might be emotional. So a past emotional shock, conflict, trauma, or confrontation around nurturing, especially mother-child, deep-seated worry about nurturing a child, a partner, or a person, or the self. Not doing enough or feeling responsible, okay? So this has to do with the physical region of the breast, but the emotional feeling of nurturing, which would be her priority. Her BS hologram here shows some more of these emotional parts of the scan, and so she's got high priority here with fairness. Again, has to do with past emotional shock or conflict that has been hard to digest or accept. And maybe might be around family, money, or justice as far as why that feeling is there. Second would be family and wronged are tied here. But she has a 3 for family, and again has to do with past emotional shock, conflict, trauma, and the physical region of the pancreas, whereas this wronged area is part of the intestine. Again, she had a priority in her stomach, which is closely related here, but past emotional trauma, shock, some sort of unpleasant or horrid situation, such as being wrongly accused of fight or an unjust act, or a memory that's not being digested properly in her body is kind of stuck here in her intestines. Okay? Moving on, just a few more. So this is probably one of the most interesting things for all of you, because it shows the actual nutrient mineral fields, antioxidant fields, B vitamin fields. This doesn't necessarily mean that she has, for example, a deficiency in vitamin B8, but it means that she may have trouble assimilating or digesting this particular vitamin. So interesting, because she has sodium, and I just scanned myself and I had sodium too. And so, it talks over here on the sidebar. You guys can't necessarily see all of this or read it, but there's information here about sodium in the body and where we mainly get it from, and that, deficiency of sodium is actually really rare because there's so much salt in the food we eat this day, but excess sodium in the body can contribute to elevated blood pressure and fluid retention. So it could be more along that. She also has selenium as an indication here. Many of us may supplement with selenium, especially if we have any sort of thyroid issues. So this, again, doesn't mean that she doesn't have enough selenium, but it could mean that it's a problem absorbing or metabolizing it. What else? We got glucose metabolism. So this could actually be, so it says here, the actual efficacy of glucose metabolism within the cells. So she might have a hard time with sugar and processing, digesting sugar. Doesn't mean that she's diabetic or that she needs insulin. It just means that she may have a hard time with a lot of sugar in your diet.
How do you feel about sugar?
I like sugar.
Do you feel like you get jittery when you eat it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then she has a fair amount of gluten sensitivity here, which is interesting, that there may be some sort of autoimmune response to gluten and just the ability to digest gluten in her body. All right, environmental, this is going to be all the cell phones and the microwaves and computers, just different EMF frequencies that are around us, and her biggest priority here is microwave, which that was mine when I did my scan too. But so just looking at the microwave, and it says here the microwave food has a potential distorting effect on the specific integrator in your body, so she could use one of these infoceuticals to help clear that block. Looking here at some different solvents, these are things that are going to be in products. This one specifically here that she has highest priority on is carbonyls, and it says here that it can be used in everything from fire extinguishers to veterinarian medicines and refrigerators and aerosol sprays. So she may just have some overexposure to some of those things. Looking here, toxic metals, fair amount of aluminum, but mostly this nickel, chromium, and beryllium. And these metal alloys known as agents for allergies, suspected of deeper damage, can be used during dental work. Oh, she's showing me her mouth. So this could be because of dental work. And it could be just that you're sensitive to it. And then looking here that there could be some asbestos and of the body. So again, it says that it's the ability to detox and deal with this toxin, and so that if you are surrounded by or in contact with asbestos, that your body would have a hard time processing it. And then these are insecticides, which are typically on like non-organic food. We all typically have some exposure to these, but yours are all actually pretty low, and you buy organic, so that makes sense. Okay, so when we look at this, we can, oh, that's not what I wanted. The last page here is her actual report. So it's really cool. We can do these scans once a month, and the first, this is her first scan, so there's only one set of results here. But when she does a scan on August 2nd, it would show up next to it. So you can go in through and you can compare all of these different pieces, and you can see, okay, well, she had a really high priority here with her spleen today, and we would see if it changed in a month after being on these infoceuticals, which send information to your body to clear these blockages. So that's just a way to compare the results. And then the recommendations for her are going to show up on this screen. And when we look here, she's going to see the top 4 infoceuticals that she could or should start taking right away, which are going to be that ED14, which is the spleen, the integrator 10 piece, which makes a lot of sense with some of the emotional information that came up for her, and then the CB hologram, which is going to be more big picture and have to deal a little bit more with that like polarity to the earth. Even though she was grounded, there was some fluctuations in the polarity in the vertical and horizontal axes. So, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So if you guys have any questions about that scan, let me know. And then I just wanted my mom to share a little story, because I was talking to you, if you jumped on late, I mentioned just a quick story about how I taught yoga and how sometimes it's more common than we think and hard to tell by just looking at someone. Number one, that they have autoimmune disease, because that's an invisible illness. There's other invisible illnesses like depression, and this has been a week that's come up a lot for my family. So I just wanted my mom to share this story about how you just don't know whose life you could be touching when you share your story, and that we might have more in common with people who we associate with on Facebook. Yeah.
Hi everybody, excuse the cheater glasses, it's because I'm old now. This past Wednesday I struggled with, it was the 2-year anniversary of Jordan's passing, and I struggled a lot with, how do I want to remember that? What do I want to put out to the world? And there was just this nagging in the back of my head that I needed to post the eulogy that I gave at his funeral. And I did. And do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay. So it's not that long, but you have to listen to this, and then I can tell you a story behind it. It was one of these, it was very serendipitous is what it was. Okay. So it says, 6/28/15, the day that changed our world. Many have asked that I post this, my eulogy for Jordan Small that I gave at his funeral. Sitting here tonight, the night of your death, overwhelms me with a grief that is unfathomable. Sitting at this table, looking at the spot you once occupied, rushes memories that flood my senses, a spot once occupied by my sweet, precious son. Snippets of time gone by flash before my eyes, long forgotten, but now resurfacing with rapid-fire clarity. The walls, corners, and crevices of this house are seeping with your presence. I see you sitting at the piano bench, your spot, on Christmas morning, and playing hot lava on the furniture, or tempting fate as you held the ceiling with your hands, with your feet firmly planted on the stairs. I remember holidays and birthdays, sitting around the dining room table, always amazed by the copious amounts of food you could consume and remain so lithe and toned. I remember watching you sit before the fireplace, opening your Christmas stocking, always exclaiming, "This is what I wanted," or perusing through your Easter basket. I see you concocting some culinary masterpiece at the stove, climbing trees, playing street hockey, capture the flag. Oh, sweet memories of your life cover me like a protective blanket, keeping me safe from the devastation of your passing. I stare at your photography, looking at life as you saw it, with your keen eye for the obscure, the unnoticed, the images of every day that we glance over, but you found the nuances and angles and shadows of those moments and captured them for eternity. Your kind heart, your gentle nature, your unconditional acceptance and understanding blessed and comforted all the souls who were fortunate enough to enter into your realm. Adventure was where your soul shined and your heart sang, climbing the Himalayan mountains, living in Japan, exploring Indonesia, scaling the tallest peaks of Colorado, and now your greatest adventure of all, flying with the angels in the vast and glorious eternity of God's heaven. And then there is that elephant in the room, the cloud emerging overhead, threatening to burst and unleash its fury down upon us and take our breath away. You chose to end your life. There, I've said it. Saying it doesn't make it better. Acknowledging it doesn't begin to soothe the senses or calm the confusion and questions of why. But I don't need to know why, at least not now. You made your choice, and now I make mine. I choose to remember your twinkling deep brown eyes and how they saw the world. I choose to sit calmly in the memory of your kind soul, giving heart, and accepting nature. I choose to find comfort in knowing that you are no longer battling your demons that no amount of joy could overcome. I choose to always honor your memory with respect and love. I choose reluctant acceptance over anger. I choose to believe that your soul is at peace in your new home to a degree that you could never attain here in your earthly body. I choose to never forget the sound of your most genuine laughter or the effervescent grin that made my world a brighter place. I choose to give gratitude that I was blessed to have you as my son, even if it was for but a brief moment in time. I choose to hold and protect the love that you filled my heart with from the moment I laid eyes on you. I also choose to grieve and cry and let the waves of devastating emotions pass over me, through me, and around me, for that proves that there was the purest of love forged within yours and my heart. But most of all, I choose love. To love you with my whole heart and entire being until my last day, a day that I will be reunited with that infectious smile, crazy wit and humor, and unbounding intellect that I will miss until then. Your beautiful spirit will never die. It resides within all of us that knew you. I will love you, Jordan, always and forever, so goodbye, my sweet son, for now. About 1 hour after I posted that, I received a message from somebody on Messenger. I had absolutely no idea who this person was. I had never spoken to them. And I get this. Hello, Miss Carolyn. I knew your son. We met on his trip to Japan back in 2012. We spoke in passing, shared a few spectacular memories, of which I still remember a scavenger hunt where Jordan and I sat in a cafe waiting for a teammate to purchase a cell phone. Why she decided to purchase one during said scavenger hunt was quite a cause for a few jokes. I'll get to my point to allow you to get back to your day. I wanted to thank you for posting your eulogy for Jordan today. I'd heard from other friends around the time it all happened, and while a bit of time has passed since then, I still found myself laughing at that memory. Words can't express how sorry I am for what happened. I wish I could do something more, but alas, sharing this is about all I can do. I'm very, very sorry if this brings up any bad memories, but I have to stress this again. Thank you for posting that eulogy. I have struggled with my own inner demons that oftentimes leave me thinking that everything might be better off moving on without me. I was scrolling through my feed today, and I caught your kind words. Your love and affection, you professed mixed with pain and emotion in your words, and for lack of a more tactful statement, it saved my life. My aforementioned demons were getting the better of me today, and the downward spiral wouldn't stop. If I hadn't seen your kindness, I shudder to think. I don't know why I felt the need to say this, and I really hope this doesn't make anything worse on such an emotional day, but I appreciate your son and your words more than I can express. I sincerely hope you have a wonderful day. So when Sarah was talking earlier about thinking that we're alone in these things, and I said earlier about serendipity.
I forgot, like, it was like hard to hear you read that again.
No, that's okay. But anyways, like I said, I was so compelled to write that, and I have my own belief on why it happened and who was maybe knocking at my head telling me to post it. But, you know, sharing your story can have a tremendous impact on somebody. And, you know, I have read this so many times that it's easy, it's never easy, but I'm able to do it without I'm struggling right now a little bit. But the more you tell your story, the easier it gets. And you'll find a flow with what you're wanting to express, and you'll find a way to become very eloquent and very succinct and very precise in what it is you want people to know and to understand without all the, you know, filler words. And as you do that, I know that in my work, you know, many of my patients have come in and, you know, we've discussed it. And I can think of probably 5 people who lost a child. I never knew that until I shared my story. And now we have this understanding bond of one another. So again, listen to her. She's a very smart girl. Anyways, I'm done talking because I can chat. So anyways, happy Sunday to you all. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mom. So I hope that moved and touched some of you in a way that empowers you to share your own story and in your own words, and know that some of these things are more common than we think, and that we're all more similar than we may know on the surface. And just really driving that home tonight. My mom says it really eloquently, so I appreciate her stepping in to share that with you guys. And also hope that scan made sense. You guys got to see a little bit of behind the scenes of what a NES scan involves, and all of the really cool information that you can see deeper into your body in that invisibleness, right? Like, but what's going on inside, and it's just so cool. I'm a visual person, to be able to see that visual behind. Kathy says, thank you for sharing that, Carolyn. Never easy, and a bunch of hearts. So if you guys have any questions, we're here tonight, and we can comment back on this video. I'll upload it to my YouTube page, and just really happy to share time with you guys as always. Thank you for joining me this Sunday, and I'll see you guys next Sunday, probably right here in the same seat since I'll still be in Michigan. But have a great rest of your night, and love you all so much. Bye.